Dill pickles. Most people assume the dill flavor comes from the leafy herb. It almost never does. Dill seed does the work, and in most commercial operations, fresh fronds never touch the jar. The cloudy brine isn't a sign something went wrong. It means fermentation is still active, bacteria still suspended in the liquid. This is a living product. The spear next to a deli sandwich didn't become iconic by accident. It became the benchmark everything else gets compared to. Bread and butter pickles. The name has nothing to do with the ingredients. During the Great Depression, families in the Midwest would trade jars of these sweet, turmeric yellow slices for bread and butter, essentials they couldn't otherwise afford. The pickle got named for its purchasing power. That same sweetness is precisely why fast food chains adopted them. A sharp dill would fight with the bun and the sauce. This one doesn't. Cornichon. These are not baby cucumbers. They are an entirely different variety, harvested before the skin has time to harden. Every single one is picked by hand because machinery bruises them. That labor cost is the reason they are expensive. On a charcuterie board, they aren't garnish. They're cutting through the fat of pâté and cured meat with sharp acidity, doing real flavor work. Fermented sour pickles. No vinegar, not a drop. The sour flavor is produced entirely by bacteria that already lived on the cucumber's skin, converting natural sugars into lactic acid. The brine is salt and water. That's the complete ingredient list. Some New York delis still sell these from open barrels, the only pickle format where you can watch exactly what's happening to your food before you buy it. Polish ogórki kiszone. The oak and cherry leaves packed into these fermentation crocks aren't there for flavor. The tannins in those leaves keep the cucumbers structurally firm throughout the fermentation process. That's an engineering decision. Garlic and horseradish bring complexity that a standard dill pickle never reaches. Eastern European grocery stores stock large jars of these because the customers buying them grew up with a specific texture and depth that no substitute delivers. Pickled jalapenos. Counterintuitively, these are measurably less hot than fresh jalapenos of the same variety. The pickling process breaks down capsaicin, reducing heat during production. Mexico's tradition of pickling chili peppers predates industrial manufacturing by a very long time. The carrots and onions packed alongside the pepper rings aren't filler. They absorb the brine and become part of the flavor system. Most people eating nachos have never had a version without those carrots and wouldn't recognize one. Banana peppers, the least acidic of any commercially pickled pepper. That's not an accident, it's why they work on sandwiches without taking over. They're regularly confused with pepperoncini, and sometimes the labels are wrong on purpose, because regional naming conventions allow both to be sold under the same name depending on the market. At American sandwich chains, they became the default mild pepper option precisely because they don't compete with anything else on the bread. Pepperoncini. The word means different things depending on your location. In Italy, it refers to a hot, small chili. In the United States, it almost always describes a mild, wrinkled, pale, green pepper that barely registers on the heat scale. Greece and Italy both have distinct pickling traditions around their respective versions, and the Greek variety is visibly shorter and rounder. On a Greek salad or an antipasto platter, this is the component that cuts through cheese and cured meat and keeps the plate from feeling heavy. Pickled green tomatoes. These are full-sized tomatoes just completely unripe. The near-apple firmness is what allows them to survive in brine. A ripe tomato would fall apart within days. This was a practical tradition born from necessity. When the first frost arrived, any tomatoes still on the vine got pickled. That urgency produced a preservation method that home kitchens in both the American South and Eastern Europe still use today, often from recipes passed down without ever being written down. Pickled red onions. The vivid magenta color is a chemical reaction, not a dye. Natural pigments in the onion respond to the acid in the brine and shift from purple-red to bright pink within minutes. The thin-sliced modern version became a fixture in Yucatan cuisine before spreading globally. Full flavor in under an hour at room temperature makes this the fastest significant pickle in the category, requiring no heat processing whatsoever. Pickled beets. The brine stains so deeply and permanently that it is used as a natural food dye for other dishes. Submerging a halved boiled egg in spent beet brine overnight turns the white a dark magenta, a well-documented technique. The pigment responsible is betanin, water-soluble, and aggressive. At salad bars across North America, pickled beet is the item that turns every ingredient it touches the same shade of dark red.